This video is about putting 6-inch stone veneer on the side of steps. Now it's a coral veneer, but nobody really does it anymore, and it's an offshoot of another video I had on building the stone steps and the railing. So here we go. Now this is the 6-inch veneer. It's 6 inches thick that goes up against here, and I went into the steps too, so we're going to show you how to do that. But we're going to start right here and show you how that's done. Now we're going to do this with coral, and I left 6 inches here to work with. So anytime you're going against a block foundation like this with stone, you look at your stone and you realize right there I got a big piece sticking here. Now we don't want a big piece sticking there. So what we want to do, let me get the board, I'm going to get rid of that piece. No reason for that piece to be there, so we knock it off. We flatten out the top of the stone. See? Now the next stone that goes on here is laying flat. Let's get this little piece off. And usually use that side of the hammer. So now you got a flat piece of the stone like this, and because I like what they call face of stone, I go around the sides and I take all the rough edges off. And in my view, that just makes the stone a lot prettier, a lot more professional. That's what you call facing. Some people call dressing a stone. So now we're going to take that and we're going to put this on here dry, no cement. See? Now we know that stone's going to fit. So let's take our next stone. Maybe you can see the kid did a little better. How we're looking. There's 6 inches. It barely fits. So we look at our stone, right? Got a rough edge there. We don't need that. You'd use a bigger hammer. Take it down if you want. Then we look at it. It looks okay. This is sticking out a little bit. So now the stone looks pretty good. Take this off, and we want to lay a little flatter. We'll take that off. So now the stone looks pretty good. Dress it up a little bit. Go around the edges. But we got this part is hurting us with the, so we're going to take that off. Trim it down. See? Now we put it in here. See if we got the space. Good. That's our space. We're going to move this one up, just like that, and that's going to go like that. I'll put this in here. Now we're going to get another piece of coral, right? And it's like rip-rap. It's all over the place. We want it to fit some way. I want something smaller. That don't look bad, except this is sticking out. Let's get rid of that. Well, that changed things. I'm going to put it like this. Maybe like that. We want to get a smaller one in there. Kind of like that. I want something smaller in there. I used to work with an uncle, Uncle Deuce, stonemason. He had a tendency to put all small ones in. I had a tendency to put all big ones in. So I'm going to leave that right there. That's going to be my next stone. So what would happen with me and Uncle Deuce is I would work part of the day on my side, and he would work on this side, and then we would change sides, so eventually everything matched. Now I'll tell you what, I got a real big one here. I'm going to put it in just like that. First thing I'm going to do is clean it up. matches. Just like that. Go around the sides a little bit. Now I'm going to tell you something, and I've done it. I'm just going to clean this bottom up a little bit. I'm going to be banging on the concrete here. There we go. That's ready to go in. I'm happy with that. And it's going to go right like that. See that? Okay, got them laid out in the front. Now let's go look at the line. See the line? Sometimes in stonework you don't need a line, you measure off. But I'm all ready to go. And I got this big one. Does it matter if it sticks in the blockwork? No, that's better than any wall tie they made. And I'm going to show you some more examples as we go. Now, I made my mix up. Move this one first. And I just get the cement and put it down. No big deal. And put this right back in there. It's already set. That's good. I'll pack it over here up against that crack. Alright, so that one's done. It's in. Now we know this one's next. I'm only worried about the bottom. Put that in. Right like that. And then put this one in. Pretty close to the line. Take your cement. Put it in there. That one's done. We got this little one. And you could do this to it. Put it in there. Make sure it's out to the line. That one's done. Now you see we got everything in order. We know exactly how it's going to go. This is a piece of fiberglass, if you can see this. Explain that later. But everything's in order. It's ready to go. You're doing a job one time and they're taking everything up on the scaffold and doing it up there. No, you do everything ahead of time in stonework. And then you don't have to be beating on it. The guy down below does all that. There. That's good for there. And then we got our last one. We just want to get it down on the ground all the way through. And you lay it in the cement up to the line. That's pretty good. This kind of rock, that's good. We put our mortar in just like that. Put it in on top. Some more in here. Make sure you're good on the bottom. On the sides, pack it. Make sure it's out to the line. So when the next stone goes on, everything's good. Okay, let's look at it sideways. So okay, we got everything laid to the line. See that? We got to fill in the back after this. We're going to let it set for a bit. Now we're going to go over to this side, which I got already, and do the same thing. Now we're over on this side, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put our cement in, just like this. Shove it up in here maybe a little bit so we make sure we got it. Put it right in. Look at that. Perfect. Right even with the line. We got this one. Put this one in. Don't forget, if they're standing up by themselves, the rule of thumb is if it stands up by itself, when it's wet, it'll stand up by itself when it's dry. So that's it. Pack that in there. Nice cement. No big deal. Now the cement, see that? The cement got a little bit harder. It set these stones pretty good. So now I'm going to go around and fill the back. Just like that. Then when we go to our next course, it'll be all ready. See, just like that. There you go. Now we come tomorrow, this will all be ready for our next stone. Now you know the drill. Go over it again with your finger. See if there's any bad spots like this. Get the back of your paintbrush like that. That's it. And then when you're all done, get your water. Make sure you rinse the sponge out. But if you see any bad spots, take the sponge and get rid of them. Now, the further back the joint goes, the more stone you'll see. You don't like too much cement showing. And that's it. Tomorrow we'll continue on. We're back the next day. I got everything filled in. And now I'm just looking around for some stones that are going to fit. I'm looking at it. Face it up a little bit. That one will go there. This one, face it up a little bit. Knock the top edge off. That one will go there. And this one will go this way. This one over here is good except for right there. That'll go like that. Take a little more off down here. That will go like that. Close enough. So now forgot how this went. So now this is going to go that way. This is going to go down there like that. This one basically is going to go in there like that. Now we got to get something for in here. So with this kind of stone, you don't have to be too particular because it's coral. And coral, you can't really face it much. I mean, you get what you get. I'm going to take this rock, shove it in there like that. That looks good to me. Alright, this one will go in there like that. We got that. Now we're going over here. Same thing. Don't be afraid to use your hands. When I was first being taught how to do masonry, use your hands. I'm going pretty good with the line. Shove it in there. Good enough for me. That looks good. Now the next one, this looked pretty good to me. It's going to go something like that. Dress it up a little bit around the side so not too rough looking. See, that way the stone is more flat. This can get out of there. That can get out of there. And this piece. See, then when you look down the stone, you're flat. That'll be next. That's it. I'll go in there like that. We look it straight up and down. We're not going off. And what I told you, if it stays there when it's wet, it's going to stay there when it's dry. Now, we'll continue on. So now, let's switch to over here. You keep turning it. That looks good that way. So you're just going to straighten it out like this. That looks good to me. Bring it out to where the line is. That's done. And we're just going to fill behind it. That's good. Make sure she's down there pretty good. That's it. Check over here. Make sure you got your cement where it all goes. Now we'll go look for one here. Okay, we got another one. I'm going to put this one in right there. Remember what I told you. If it stays there when it's wet, it's going to stay there when it's dry. There we go. I got these lines going up. My rule of thumb is 1, 2, the third stone, I want to break that line. And I got one for over here. Fits right in there. See that? Perfect. Push the cement in. No big deal. Now if you're watching me, I'm incorporating the stonework inside the block work. Because I want, that's the only way to really hold it together without using wall ties. Now I have to reach this line. I gotta make sure that I'm square, right? Gotta make sure that. I gotta make sure I got a little pitch so that when it rains, the water runs off. 36 inches. I know that's where I have to come out to. Check. So the job today is to get this up to this line. Now we're continuing on. Get ready. We're going to go up to this line. That's the goal. Get up to that line. We're probably going to do it today. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning. We got a good start. A little shim in here. It'll keep that from moving. Now I ran out of 4-inch solids. So you're going to ask me, Mike, what do you use when you run out of stuff? The answer is anything you got. There it is right there. Now this comes down up against here. Next one will go in. That's a perfect wall tie. I'm placing my coral pieces, like I said. There's the line. You see? Make my mark. Maybe a little bit here. Maybe a little bit there. I'm going to cut that off. See how we did with our piece. It was like this. Here we are. Right to the line. That's where I want to be. Up to the line. Did I do this right? Maybe it's this way. That looks good better. Up to the line. Unpack this. This is where the top of my stone has to go. And I got a pitch. So that works. Then I know that my stone's going to go like this. So that works. I got to be square. Put my square up here. That works. And I know I have to be 36 inches out. 36 inches, that works. Okay, that side's done. Put the line up. Now I'm working on this side. Everything's square and measures properly. Now if you see what's going on here, I get that side done, this side done, I got my line up, and I'm putting my stone in front. Right to my line. See that? Now once we get the front all done, we could fill in this base with all the junk you want. Anything that fits. Now these are the threads I made. So I'm going to put one up on top and see how it works out. So I got it all laid out dry and the door's going to open, no problem. We're all good. Okay, let's take a look at what's going on. I got my top in. I kept that wet, just so you know, last night. And I'm going to keep it wet today. But I got my pattern, and where my pattern starts, right here, that's where my stonework starts. My stone will fit on top. And then I come down here, I have my pattern for my next stone. Come down here, I have my pattern for the next stone. And the same thing on this side. If you have a pattern, you can't go wrong. I've seen a lot of guys go wrong because they don't use a pattern. Now, not only that, but I had a pattern for my stone. You see it? I know how my stone is going to fit. And when I look down, that's the way it's going to fit. So I wanted to show you that before I continued on and I do my next steps. Now because we know where our pattern is, I'm going to start laying this out dry. So I know that everything's going to work, and once I get it all laid out dry, then I'm going to put cement there. Now I'm going with my pattern. You see, if you go with your pattern, you can't make a mistake. You see, more guys make mistakes on steps than anything else. I have my piece of rebar. This is fiberglass rebar. Never used it before, but I got it because I don't want metal, not in Florida. We're putting our stones in even with our pattern. And then, if we got them in, actually running out of stones. Okay, so I know them stones are good with my pattern. This one looks like it's got to go down a little bit. Right there. So now I take my pattern away a little bit and I look in here, make sure they're straight and the way I want them. Now the same thing on this side. Go over here and I check my pattern. Right on. I I got my line up, and I don't have a lot of stones to pick for anymore. I'm going to have to show you where I go and get them. But I'm going to the line. That's the plan. Everything's set up. Make it simple. You want to plan your shots. You know what I'm saying? When you're playing pool, right? And I wasn't a bad pool player. My neighbor used to beat me all the time. And I used to beat everybody else. But he was like, he just had that feel. And I think when you're doing stonework, you just have to have that feel. And the way you get to feel it is with a little experience. So, you go over to the side and you get experience. That's all, a little at a time, you figure it out. When I was a kid, we were still doing church work. And I went with the union out in Jersey because I knew how to do that. That's why they hired me. Because I knew that kind of work. And when they did that kind of work, they always send the new guy to the back of the building. The experienced guys that they knew well and they knew what they were doing would go to, I got lost here, the front of the building. That's how you knew you got quality work. I don't know what I did here. Maybe something crazy like that. Nope. There we go. Something like that. You always keep turning it. Turn it, turn it, turn it. And then something's going to fit. So this is my step. So that's my bottom courses in now. Very simple. No big deal. And I need a little one for in there. Let's shove this in there. That'll hide that sin. I don't have any left. I don't have much stone left. Continuing on, and this is all the coral I have left. So I'm really beating it, trying to make it work. So now I'm using up all the old coral, throwing it behind here, and then after that I'm going to fill it up with concrete. Now we're just filling in the voids before we put the steps on. That's all we're doing. Alright, let's see where we are at. I dropped this by mistake and I cracked it, but that's no big deal. I'll use it for a template. I put them all in. I got my 7 inches. Everything's working out. And now I'm going to go lay them. Working by yourself. It's down in the front. That's what I want. That's good. Rubber hammer. And we seed our stone. And that should be good. Okay, now we're just going to fill the back in. Just like we did regular stonework. All the way through. Tuck it in. Some people call it tucking. Some people call it pointing. Depends on where you're from. Get your sponge, make sure you wring it out. Just go over it again, just like you're doing regular stonework. No big deal. You want to make a mess out of it, you got to wring your sponge out. I don't know if you can see this. Wring it out. Get the bad spots. Okay, this is the finished job. At the top of the steps, I did that on the video where I made them out of my own concrete, and it's done over here. These are the railings, and you notice they shifted this over So then when I walk up into the door, I'm on the side and it's easy to open. When I come out, I got all this room. So that's why that was done. And these are my flying railings, I call them. I put them up and that'll be on another video. So now I'll talk about it. Okay, I'm going to talk about it. This is my house in Florida, so I'd work on it a couple hours a day. You're going to ask me, why did I put that blue paper down? It's because I do not want it to stick to the concrete. If I wanted to, I could drive shims all through this thing and lift these steps right up. I've done it before, so I think I know what I'm doing. The cement was a pre-mix type N, and I just add, if it's a 60-pound bag, I add 2 trowelfuls of Portland to it because I really don't trust those kind of products. Same thing with retaining walls. If we were building a retaining wall, usually you'd build it this thick, stone to be on this side, stone to be on this side, and you'd fill it up in the middle. You see me put fiberglass in there. I never used it before. They're rods like this. I seen them on sale and I was playing with them and I thought, geez, that's pretty neat. I'll see how it works because I do not want metal. Metal in Florida rusts and it expands and it breaks things apart. So I stay away from that. Railings, did the railings myself. That'll be another video. People ask me, how high could you do this kind of stone in a day? Well, you know, it depends on what you're doing, but sometimes you can go 4 or 5 feet high. If you start in the morning, by 1 o'clock it's hard already and you just keep going. Wall ties, the old timers would never use wall ties. And what happened was you'd bind everything together and you could, everything is locked in together. And I'd done jobs where I had no blocks or no bricks, it was all stone, and I'd lock everything in together just like building a castle, and it's not going to go anywhere. Patterns. Biggest thing you could do and the best thing you do is cut yourself out a pattern. Then you know it's going to be right. If you're going to do arches, you build your arches on the ground, you have your pattern, you put everything up, you take your pattern, you put it up, you know it's going to fit. Now this 6-inch stone derived from another video called Building Stones and Masonry Steps, Part 19. And in that I go into the big detail on why I did this, how I made the steps, how I made the stoop, and everything like that. So I hope you enjoy the videos. Thanks for watching. I'm Mike Haduck. I'll see you next video.